Hey guys, thanks for checking out the Slatrock channel. Today, we present you 12 match types that WWE should bring back. WWE is known for having some pretty big stipulations attached to their matches. From Hell in a Cell, to tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs, to the Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank ladder match. They've had matches that contain almost anything you can think of. Some of these matches were only done a few times before fading into obscurity. We think that some of them were great though, and we think they need to make a comeback. So here are our top 12 match types that WWE should bring back. Number 1, First Blood. The First Blood match, as the name implies, can only be won when someone bleeds. It's as simple as whoever bleeds first loses. Some First Blood matches got pretty harsh, and generally weapons were used to draw blood. The first ever First Blood match took place at the King of the Ring in 1998,
where Kane fought Stone Cold Steve Austin in a match that was a little unfair to Austin,
as Kane wore a one-piece jumpsuit and a mask, so he had no exposed skin. Kane even promised to set himself on fire if he lost. First Blood matches have a tendency to be violent messes. A particularly messy one was the last time WWE saw a First Blood match. It was at One Night Stand 2008 when John Cena fought JBL. Both men left a lot bloodier than they entered it. That feud between Cena and Bradshaw would see a lot of blood spilled before the end. Number 2, Championship Scramble. The Championship Scramble match is a rather unique concept. Basically, a group of wrestlers wrestle for a set period of time. Whoever grabs the pinfall is crowned the interim champion. Whoever the interim champion is at the end of the time limit is the official champion. Championship Scramble matches are pretty rare, but they can produce a lot of fun moments. WWE probably thought that the rules were too confusing. They were all over the place during 2008 and 2009, with 4 of them made to decide the fate of the ECW Championship. The last Championship Scramble scene in WWE took place at the Bash in 2009. Tommy Dreamer retained his ECW Championship against Christian, Jack Swagger, Mark Henry, and Finlay. Number 3, Boiler Room Brawl. The Boiler Room Brawl is almost like a cage match. 2 men fight it out in a boiler room, and the winner is the first man to leave the boiler room after beating their opponent senseless. It was a staple of Mick Foley's career for a short time, and is completely non-existent these days. The first Boiler Room Brawl saw Mankind go one-on-one with The Undertaker at SummerSlam in 1996. Mankind came out on top and solidified the barbarity of the Mankind character and set it apart from the lovable goof Mick Foley. The last time we saw a Boiler Room Brawl was in 1999 on a Christmas-themed episode of Raw. Triple H, as Santa Claus no less, defeated Mankind after the Mean Street Posse and New Age Outlaws interfered in the match. Number 4, Inferno Match. The Inferno Match is a particularly scary match for all involved. It's such a brutal match that it's only been seen 4 times in WWE and is associated with Kane, as he's been in every one. The match came from the idea that Kane really loves fire. Who doesn't remember when he set JR on fire? The first Inferno match happened at Unforgiven in 1998. Kane fought The Undertaker in a ring surrounded by fire. The winner was the first person to set their opponent on fire, and Undertaker won by lighting Kane's arm on fire. The last Inferno match officially happened in 2006 with Kane defeating MVP by setting his back on fire. WWE brought back the match a few years ago but called it a Ring of Fire match. It saw Bray Wyatt face off against, surprise surprise, Kane. The match lives in infamy as fans didn't agree with how safe the match was compared to other Inferno matches. Number 5, Buried Alive. Long before fans complained that every superstar they loved was being buried alive, the Buried Alive match actually existed. The loser would literally be buried under a mound of dirt. Much like the casket match, it's associated with The Undertaker. Undertakers bury people. Get it? The first Buried Alive match took place in 1996 and saw The Undertaker defeat Mankind. The final Buried Alive match is also one of the most infamous ones. It happened during the Nexus invasion of 2010. In October of that year, Kane would defeat his brother The Undertaker with a little help from his friends in the Nexus. The interference by the Nexus made no sense and was never followed up on. No one is quite sure why they helped Kane and will probably never know now. Number 6, Bra and Panties. Just like the hot lesbian action, the Bra and Panties match was a staple of the Attitude Era. It's a throwback to a time when WWE highly encouraged their divas to show a little too much skin. It's not hard to see why the match doesn't exist anymore, but one more wouldn't hurt anyone. The first match happened in WCW, and they've made their way to most wrestling federations. It was called the ROTC, or Rip Off the Clothes match, and took place between Major Guns and Miss Hancock. The last official televised Bra and Panties match in WWE took place in 2006. Maria Kanellis defeated Tori Wilson, Candice Michelle, and Victoria on an episode of Raw. The matches happened at live events here and there, but not on TV. It's a salacious match that had to be dropped after WWE turned PG, and is even less likely to happen now that they're focused again on creating a true women's division. Number 7. Gauntlet match. A gauntlet match is a match typically used to punish people by the authority figure. A competitor is forced to face a series of opponents, with the winner facing the next person to come out. More often than not, the original competitor would be knocked out and never reach the final match. One gauntlet match that stands out in history is when Vince McMahon made a match between himself and John Cena. John Cena would have to face a whole line of superstars before getting his hands on the boss. The most recent gauntlet match didn't actually happen in WWE. Former NXT superstar Chris Hero held one for charity and wrestling for a whopping 3 hours straight. How long he would be wrestling for was determined by how much money he received. We wonder if he regrets that. Number 8. Hardcore match. WWE may have a lot of hardcore matches with extreme rules, but they almost never have a pure hardcore match anymore. They tend to give them plenty of different stipulations, such as Street Fight or No Holds Barred. Back in the day, they had pure hardcore matches where the only rule was that there was no rules. The main source of hardcore matches in WWE was the Hardcore Championship. The title was introduced by being handed to Mankind on November 2nd, 1998. He lost it to Big Boss Man and never went after it again because he got a push to bigger and better belts. The Hardcore Championship itself became more of a prop than anything when it was used for comedy after the 24/7 rule was introduced, with champions being pinned in their sleep and constantly being assaulted. They may have treated the championship like garbage, but some of the matches were fun to watch, and we'd like to see a straight hardcore match come back. Number 9. Parking Lot Brawl. The Parking Lot Brawl wasn't really much of a match. It happened when superstars just couldn't wait to get their hands on one another, and usually involved groups of superstars just throwing down. One of the first is also one of the most infamous. It took place in 1986 with the Four Horsemen attacking Dusty Rhodes in a parking lot. It was an attack that would see them, not legitimately of course, break his arm. It stands out as being all too similar to a gang attack, as Dusty was tied to a car to keep him from escaping. WWE fans saw a parking lot brawl on the lead up to WrestleMania as Dean Ambrose was brutally assaulted by Brock Lesnar during the build-up. It's not really much of a match, but it really builds a feud and shows just how much two guys hate each other. Number 10. Strap match. The strap match is a match where two men are strapped together and they get to beat the heck out of each other with it. The rules are a little different, but generally the winner is the first superstar to touch all 4 turnbuckles in succession. One of the best and most famous strap matches took place in WCW, with Sting facing off against Vader. Sting was a plucky babyface who was able to use the strap to take down the big monster Vader. Strap matches also leave room for camp silliness, as evidenced by the equally infamous Yappa Pie Indian strap match. Just search for that on YouTube and remember what wrestling used to be. One of the last strap matches in WWE was actually a Russian chain match. It saw Rusev face off against Cena with a chain keeping them together. The match wasn't as good as it should have been, and fans disagreed with the finish, so there's probably a good reason WWE shelved the idea. Number 11. Iron Man match. The WWE Iron Man match is simple. 2 superstars wrestle for a set time limit, usually 30 to 60 minutes, and the superstar with the most pinfalls or submissions at the end wins. The first ever Iron Man match took place at Beach Blast 1992. It saw Ricky Steamboat defeat Rick Rude after 30 minutes of intense action, leading to a 4-3 victory for Steamboat. The Iron Man match is also seen as one of the leading causes behind the Divas Revolution, as the last Iron Man match seen on WWE TV was in fact an Iron Woman match. Bayley and Sasha Banks tore up NXT TakeOver and proved that not only should women have longer matches and be taken seriously, but that they could wrestle for 30 minutes straight and make it one of the most emotional things ever seen on WWE TV. Everyone watching that match managed to become an even bigger fan of both women. Number 12. Battle Bowl. The Battle Bowl match is a unique take on the Battle Royal. Superstars earned their place in the match in a lethal lottery. They were randomly paired together, and the team that won their match entered the Battle Bowl. What made the Battle Bowl truly unique was that there were 2 rings. If you were thrown from one ring to the other, then you weren't eliminated. You were only eliminated if you were thrown to the floor. The first Battle Bowl took up an entire pay-per-view. It was the sole focus of the 1991 edition of WCW Starrcade. The winner of the first Battle Bowl match was Sting after he eliminated Lex Luger. It was also the only Battle Bowl match to use the 2-ring format, as subsequent Battle Bowls were scaled down. WWE is unlikely to bring in the Battle Bowl because it's too similar to the Royal Rumble, but it would make an excellent addition to a one-night-only WCW pay-per-view if they decided to do one. So what kind of matches do you guys want to see make a comeback? Let us know by dropping a comment below. Also, if you like this video, you can hit subscribe and see more videos just like this one, And if you'd like, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Thanks for watching.